ChrisCharmForKojiPop.com and welcome to my gravity flipping spaceship. This is VVVVVV on iOS. Yeah, VVVVVV, really old. That's a really old. It's good. It's really old, but it hasn't come out on iPhone yet, and now it has. So that's why we're looking at it at the moment. It's on iPhone, it's on iPad. I think it's on Ouya now as well. That was one other port. And then in last week as well, Terry Banner also released a free version of VVVVVV, which is like a create and share thing on PC, making it easier for people to create levels and whatnot. So there's that as well. But this is the iOS version. It's, God, if you don't know what it is, it's a really, really hard platform game that I'm rubbish at. With the deal being that rather than you jumping, you hit the, what would normally be your jump control to flip gravity, and then suddenly you can flip between the two. You can't flip in midair, you can only flip once you've hit the ceiling or the floor or what have you. And you're this little cherry fella, your ship's lost in space, so what you kind of want to do is keep looking at your map and head towards these points of interest, which are question marks, and those are teleportation devices, and basically you use those and you want to rescue your crew at this stage of the game anyway. And I'll tell you what, actually this is probably really an indirect way of going about things. I'm going to go back in and teleport outward and get closer to some manner of action. One thing, I played a little bit of VVVVV. I think I played a browser-based version of it, actually. I seem to distantly recall. But, I never played that much of it because I never owned it, actually owned it until now. So I didn't actually know that it had kind of a broader, more non-linear exploration focus to it. I thought it was just a sequence of levels and blah 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 and go go go. But it's a good deal more open. It takes obviously C64 stuff as its main sort of inspiration, I guess, and it's very much, it has that British platformer root to it, so it's all sorts of things like individual screens within a level having their own names and things like that, and ridiculously ferocious difficulty. I'm going to teleport over here because I can explore Whoosh. So yes, you can see each thing has its own name. I'm going to have to get past all of this stuff. Balls. You die a lot in this game. It's I think everything about VVV has already been said at this point, but I mean it's I think it came out kind of before, I want to say it came out before Meat Boy. It was kind of, before there were, a whole bunch of things like 1001 Spikes or, the fashionable thing in indie gaming. So, I think a lot of it has to be viewed within that context. But I mean, it is still an incredibly, almost one of, if not the best example of that sort of subgenre. I don't know if I can actually get back down to where I need to be. Yes, I can actually. Ah, balls. Oh. There isn't a way, there isn't a way, there is not a way, there isn't a way. Or is there? Wait, we've got to navigate all the way through. Weird, because I have actually done this bit before to... No. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna... Yeah. I'm gonna wrap around the other side. Let's go somewhere easier. Yes, it's infamously, ludicrously, hair-pullingly difficult. It's the infamous you know, a relation of some story I think Terry Gavanna had where a fan met him in the pub and said, "Oh, you're the guy, yeah, that made this," and then probably punched him in the face for you know, deeming to make, you know, one particular section of the game so ridiculously difficult. Let's see, where's the best place to be, I guess, for my incapable hands? Probably back here, actually. Let's go over here. Control-wise, yeah, you're always going to have, because this is such a difficult game, and such a game that demands such precision, there's always going to be an awful lot of concern over would this actually work on iOS. You know, of course, Terry Gavanna, you know, better known to, I guess, iOS gamers or mobile gamers for Super Hexagon, also incredibly difficult, but something that was built for a mobile device, and this game isn't built for a mobile device, obviously. But yeah, I mean, as it's as good, I think, as it could be on a platform that it shouldn't really be on, I don't think. You know, it's kind of got, ooh, hooray, made it to a little teleporter there. That's one save point, but let's see here. That kind of must mean that there's something interesting nearby. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What's this thing? The underside of a level, evidently. Oh, okay. This way. Bam. But yeah, it's kind of, it tries to be as customizable as possible. I am using, you know, the control scheme that has two virtual buttons for left or right, and then you touch anywhere on the right hand side of the screen to flip. Because it's, yeah, I mean, it's the system that's most comfortable for me. But yeah, there are other control schemes as well. By default, it's a slider that you wiggle your thumb in between the left and right parts of, and then you touch the right side to jump. I just didn't. That works fine, but I don't think it works quite well enough when you just have to move a very, very short distance. And often you kind of do have to do that, so I have found that this is, you know, in my estimation, the best way of going about things. Yeah, it's, as virtual buttons go, on iOS, they're good ones, they're the good kind of virtual buttoning, but yeah, I mean, like, there are some that absolutely detest touch controls on an iDevice, and I can understand that, absolutely. This isn't going to convert you, really, and there's no way, I mean, like, if you... Yeah, I think you're unequivocally wrong if you think that this is in any way better than playing it with physical controls. But it is, you know, if you're going to play a port, you know, if this is the only means that you have to play this game, then it's more than playable. You know, it's still very good. You know, it's still the same great game. It doesn't. It's not like the experience is completely marred or completely ruined by the controls. I don't think. But yeah, it's. I think the twist is, I've said this before, I think like the trick with creating these kind of really difficult trouble or death platformers is making them incredibly ferociously difficult, sure, but it's also really important to feel like if you were really good, you could do this on your first try, and that's something that I think this game really nailed perfectly. There's just such a feeling of, I'm if I was just, you know, if I had Jedi-like reflexes, I could do this, you know, and that's really important in making the difference between one more try kind of frustration and sort of, I don't know, what's the video game equivalent of X-Park Heat? I think we need to create that. You know, it doesn't fall shy of that, and you know, I think that's the highest acclaim that you could give it. It is still, I think it's the best thing Terry Gavana's done, and yeah, I think within this sort of subgenre of incredibly difficult platform games, it's shit. It's really quite amazing. Oh no. And yeah, and I've realised I look god awful. So, you know, I think nobody makes it to these kind of, you know, bits. Hey, let's play a bit of VVVVVV. I don't think anybody comes out unscathed from that experience. Let's at least see if we can get through this last cell screen. Because there are a couple of other little extra things, like game modes that were, I believe, only present once you'd finished the game. Normally are here, straight from the get-go. There's also, you know, things like time trials, stuff like that. There's also a few, community created levels here as well, that you can dip into, and so that's kind of a cool taster for the free PC version that came out. Momentum. See, the defining thing that makes this a very, you know, specifically British 8-bit style platformer is the level of control you have of your character in mid-air, and the fact that there is some but not very much of it. You know, the infamous, the physics-defying famous move of rise, orbit, rise. Should I, dare I? Let's go. Yeah. Shit. Yes. You want to get the shiny thing that don't know why. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm probably heading away from where I want to be. I don't know where I want to be. Seriously. Yeah, the infamous curly muffin. It does exist in VVVVVV, but not to the extreme extent that, say, a Mario can perform a curly muffin, even at low speed. The curly muffin being the physics-defying move where you jump and change direction in mid-air. You know, often in Mario you can land back on the platform behind you. You can't do that here, you kind of have to commit to everything that you do, but the game is still about steering yourself while in mid-air. Go! Also, you know, obviously the other thing that's resolutely British about it is just the, you know, oh, it's so random. You know, the things that are in here, you know, the loudspeakers shouting out the word lies, and here's a factory, you know, churning out lethal smoke in a space station. That's, you know, it's very sort of Matthew Smith and Manic Miner in that regard. And yeah, so fucking close to a teleporter there. Let's get it to that teleporter and then we'll call it. Go, go, go. Yay, I did it. We made it. Jolly good. So yeah, let's hop out here to show you. I've already died nearly 600 times here. Let's quit out to the main menu and see what the stuff is in here. Yeah, so there's a few player worlds in here, you know, with the credits of the people that made them, in ascending order of spikiness or difficulty. Oops. This is a 1-star level that is still seemingly difficult enough, I think. About at my level. Which way can we go? This way, oh, a thing. Ooh, it's so tempting. I'm gonna die anyway. Shit bum. Shit bum. You know, because you know, it's like you're swearing at it because you're not swearing at the game, it's swearing at yourself. Which way was I going this way? No. Right. We're going to the left. We're just going to the left. You know, it's like every shit under your breath is something directed at your own inability. And to an extent, yeah, I mean, I could say that because you are playing with touch controls, there's room to say that the controls are partly to blame for this particular death or what have you. And that's, you know, kind of a bit of a shame. But then on the other hand, it is, you know, it's a thing of getting something that really should be played to an audience that hasn't played it previously, presumably. You know, I think now, whoever you are and wherever you may be, you have something that can play VVVVV, so you should, you know, it's a great game, essential, I would say. This is not great level design. This is something that you couldn't do the first time. You have to know, because, you know, leaps of faith. But this is by a different chap, so I'll let the game off for that, for the sins. I'll let the father off for the sins of the childhood. Hooray! Goes on a bit. Goes on a bit. Shit. Here we go. It really does go on a bit. What? Hey? Over there. Well, what if I just go all the way to the left? There we go. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We'll be there soon. I thought. Oh, you do see, you just have to walk off this way. Stupid thing. Except tiny. Go, 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 go. Ah, bum. Oh, okay. Right. There we go. No? How did I do it before? How did I do it just 2 seconds ago? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Ah. Well, yeah, okay. Oh, that's gonna take forever. Right, let's jump out of that. Yeah, so there's other things. No death mode, flip mode. So you can flip the entire game vertically. No death mode, you can do that, or you can just trip around the secret lab, which kind of opens up the entire map to you and lets you tool around a bit. So yeah, that's VVVVVV. It's still, you know, it's in essence the same game that it always has been, and that's great. It's still a tremendous game, believe you me. This isn't, you know, it would be, you know, foolish to say that this is the optimum way to experience it. But if you haven't experienced it before and you don't have any other means of experiencing this game, then by all means, getting on iPhone, it's still decent, you know. It's $3 and yeah, VVVVVV Surprise Buy is still really good. Chris John for CountryPop.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.